It's a bittersweet moment as I said goodbye to one of my cars. Hi guys, my name is Kamil, this is Gorilla Project Car. By the title you already know, but this week it's an end of an era that was owning a 1988 VW Jetta Mark II. I sold the car. I've had the car for a little bit over a year, and during my ownership it's been a roller coaster of a ride. There have been some ups and downs, and in this video I want to tell you a little bit more about it. So I'll share the story of why I bought the car, what happened while I owned it, why I fell in love with it, and why I sold it. The idea to buy a car started with a simple another idea that to work on my E36 Touring, and to do that I needed the car off the road, which means I needed a daily. I set a budget, which was pretty funny because my budget was the same amount of money that I would spend on winter tires for the Touring, which was very low budget. That set the bar on old cars, very old cars. But apart from the fact that I wanted an old car, I also wanted something interesting, something I never tried before, and there came an idea of buying a diesel car. I never owned a diesel before, and it was my first time, so when you start something, you start from the basics. That's why I decided I want to go for a NA diesel without turbo. For those of you who don't know what NA is, it's naturally aspirated. Knowing my budget, knowing I want a diesel car, I set a search criteria and begin searching. I've seen some pretty modern cars in my eyes, like early 2000, but that's not what I wanted to go with. I wanted to go with something classic, and most of the searches was a Mark II or Mark III VW Golf, but I already have a Golf, so I didn't want to go with another one. Okay, I wanted a little bit, but I didn't find anything that interesting. And then I saw a Jetta. When I started searching for a Jetta in particular, I wasn't successful at the first time. I found a car, went with Nikita, my friend, to see it. And it was a similar year, I don't remember the year, it was the same color, it was also a 1.6 diesel, and it was coupe, so two-door car. It looked really cool on pictures, but most of the cars do. When we arrived at the place, we immediately noticed that it's not a good car even for a beater, because it was in a very rough shape. The car started, made a lot of smoke, like a lot of smoke. I would get my the car documents taken away immediately if I bought it. And the funniest thing was, I asked the seller if the car has what's the state of the floor of the car, and he said, I think it's all right. When we arrived at the place, it turned out that the car didn't have its original floor. It had roof steel bolted to the floor so you don't see the holes, which was pretty bad. We took the car for a test drive anyways, and it was so much fun. It's so funny how torquey those small engines are with the weight of the car. It was insane fun to drive it. We came back home, and not long later I found another car, and we went again, and this time we bought it, and that was my 1988 Jetta. Over the course of my ownership I did few updates. The suspension was really bad, so I did buy a coilover set for the car. It was MTS Gold, for those of you who know it. It's pretty cheap brand, but turned out to be awesome for the car. It drove spectacularly good. I was really amazed by how good this car drives. I also put wheels that I had for ages for this car. The wheels, I actually got 3 of the wheels, or 3 or 2, I don't remember, from my friend for free. I refurbished them and bought more of those wheels so I can have a set. I ended up with 5 and refurbished all of them, and I put them on the car because it was the same bolt pattern. And I also put winter tires, which I had from my previous GTI, and that was basically it for most of the time. I washed the car, wet washed it, because it smelled very bad. It was leaking water somewhere, I think in the trunk. And then I know I wanted a winter beater, but I did drive the car during the warmer months as well, and it started overheating. So what I did was replace the radiator, the thermostat, the radiator reservoir, this is the old one, a few other hoses and fluid, obviously. It didn't solve the issue because the issue was the fan didn't work, so I didn't fix it, but I did a bit of a workaround. I just hotwired a switch to the fan, and whenever the car was going a bit too hot, I turned it on manually. So this solved the issue for most of the time. And well, yeah, that was actually it. That's all I did to the car. Driving it, being so much fun, made me fall in love with it. And I had an idea. I had an idea to either build a more powerful diesel engine for the car, or do something else, definitely do a swap to have a bit more power. I wanted to add AC, which is pretty simple for those cars. I wanted to do central locking, full audio, and most importantly, rebuild the whole chassis. I really wanted to do it. I found a lot of parts. I already bought few parts for it, and I even have a brand new windshield for the car. So yeah, I really did start to gather the parts for the whole operation. Unfortunately, then I realized that I already have way too many projects. I have a GTI that I didn't touch for ages. I have my compact that I didn't touch for 2 ages. I need to do a lot of work to the touring, and there's another car. Yeah. I just arrived at the workshop with a quarter panel on the Jetta. Jetta is a trooper. It's really the best car ever. It drove like it didn't have anything. So weight wise, it's nothing for a diesel, and like size wise, it's too small to affect the handling, so it was perfectly fine all the way. I had to make a decision, so I did consider a lot of things, and I did have to consider the budget, the time, and the place especially. Where would I put the car, which car I can work on, and what's the steps I have to take, all right? And it was a difficult decision, but I decided that it's time to let Jetta go. I found a buyer, he came, looked at the car, bought it, drove away, and we parted ways. That was it. In the next video, I'll show you the car that I chose over Jetta. You might be very surprised, let me tell you that. But that's for the next one. My ending message to you is, don't be afraid to embrace a journey, an adventure that is owning an old classic car and even daily it. These vehicles don't have the same safety features and all the modern equipment that new cars do, but they do have something else. They have a soul, and they provide a unique driving experience that you can really enjoy. It helps you to learn to drive the car way differently than you would a new modern car. They are simple cars to work on, and the parts are usually very cheap for them. So those cars can help you improve your working on the car skills, the mechanical skills, improve your driving skills due to the lack of the safety features like ABS and stuff like this, and also like make you a more patient person. And there is something in keeping an old classic car on the road, the sense of accomplishment that you feel when you do it. And yes, I did let it go, but I already do have a couple of other older cars that I am keeping on the road. So it was, I think overall it was a good decision. I don't know what you think, let me know in the comments. Maybe in the next video when you see the new car, you'll be able to tell me a bit more if you think I made the right call. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.